Hello, I'm Hal Burdick, your night editor. Now, that may be a fact of very little importance to you, but what I have to say is important. It concerns you and me and everyone in San Francisco. You know, life is getting pretty complicated. Each of us is so busy with his own affairs, raising a family, making a living, and keeping house, that sometimes we lose sight of what's going on right around us. Of course, we try to keep up with things through the newspapers, the radio, television, and so on, but what do you think about when you read something like this?
Wanna be where?
Parents, too.
So, well, maybe. And what about this?
Shameful.
Somebody ought to do something.
Somebody? Somebody, yes. But that somebody is you, I, each one of us. We ought to do something about a lot of the things that are wrong in our city. And we can through our community chest. Our community chest is the source of funds for a lot of the activity that makes San Francisco a better place to live. Because it is chest funds that get to the heart of the matter, helping each other. We can point with pride to all community chest youth services, boys clubs, neighborhood centers, the Ys and the Scouts. These boys may not look any different from the kids who get into trouble with the law, but the similarity ends right there. Children who learn how to share a can of paint or hammer and nails and brush are not the kids who destroy property. Instead of getting into street brawls, they have a chance to work off extra energy in sports that develop quick thinking and a sound body. As a citizen, I feel these are good things, worth paying for. Oh, I know about the membership fees in community chest youth organizations, $1 or $2 a year perhaps. But it costs about $11 a year to maintain a boy in Scouts, for instance. There'd be a lot fewer Boy Scouts if community chest didn't foot most of the bill. Besides, these kids learn useful skills. Here, it's first aid. Bear in mind it costs almost $2,000 a year to take care of one delinquent boy. It costs only $16 yearly to keep a child in a boys' club. One way or another, we shall have to pay the bill. Which shall we choose? There's an old saying to remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Last year, your gifts made it possible for 77,000 boys and girls to belong to community chest youth organizations and neighborhood centers. Yes, your money goes a long way. It goes into emergency homes for children, into orphanages and foster placement. Wherever community chest services must stand in for mom and pop and become a place called home. In the community chest tradition of keeping families together, nursery schools play a big part. But whether care is just for a day or until a boy or girl is of age to care for himself, your dollars help put flesh on small bones and build strong young citizens. For every breakfast, dinner, or supper, there's careful planning for what a child needs. Careful planning. No waste, no frills, no extras. Yet, it does take money. Milk by the gallon, day after day, month after month. Clothing, warm sweaters, socks, and jeans, and shoes. They're mended often, but have to wear out for good sometime. Ordinary events for the average family must be done on a grand scale. Hundreds of children need periodic haircuts, and toothbrushes, and toothpaste, and soap, and the water bill. All these things your gift to the community chest will help pay for. You also supply that very essential ingredient, TLC, tender, loving care. Last year, you gave 795,000 days' worth of care for children who might otherwise have been lonely and neglected. The intangibles are important too. the worries that are relieved, the heartaches that are lessened. These are the jobs of family services that help parents and their children. Folks like Grandfather John need not be distressed by old age any longer. That is, not so long as Red Feather Services can help. Misery can strike deep, but even for those who have become the cast-offs of society, community chest services like the Salvation Army work miracles of rehabilitation. It's part of the Salvation Army creed to love the unlovable and to befriend those who have no friends. With your gifts, Community Chest was able to help 24,700 single individuals and families last year. Now, how about hospitals? Hospital and clinic care count high in sharing your contributions. Community Chest operates all but one of San Francisco's general clinics. Free or part-pay hospital care is offered in Children's, Mount Zion, Mary's Help, and many other hospitals. Some illnesses, like rheumatic fever, demand months of convalescence. Weak hearts need lots of rest. Accidents can happen to any one of us. Somehow, we always expect hospitals to be ready, when and if. Yet, hospitals cannot exist without equipment and personnel, all of which cost money. Hundreds of sheets, pillow slips, towels, and gowns must be laundered every single day. Another item on the Community Chest bill. Chalk up special drugs. As a matter of fact, they saved Mike's life. These days, fewer families can afford the expense of really long-term care. So you see how your gift must stretch to many different services. Over 380,000 days worth of free and part-pay hospital and clinic care. This year, Community Chest has Korean War veterans to think about. The young men with old faces, amputees, the ill and convalescent are crowding the USO again. So are GIs on leave and those who are fighting overseas. United Defense Fund for USO and Korean Relief has added $332,000 to our 1951 Chest campaign goal. So it looks like we have a full chunk of responsibility. We can meet it in one simple gift. The gift of a minute a day. In the case of the working man or woman, that means 1 minute out of every day's paycheck. For the housewife, it means putting a cash value on a minute out of her busy day. Speaking of minutes, I'd like to have you meet the symbol of our conscience during the chest drive. She's no bigger than a minute herself. The Minute Maid of 1951. Hello, honey. Tell me, do you know the golden rule?
Uh-huh. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I try to do that. Do you?
Well, what's your answer? Think it over, friends. Community chest dollars mean happiness. The ease of pain, the care of a lonely child, multiplied by the 100. Your gifts remind the GI that he didn't lose that leg for a song. No, he lost it for you, and you care way down deep. A minute a day, that's all it takes. The minute you give can make all the difference.